What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all already know y'all tuning into Punch Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself. As we all know, Jaron Ennis, the 147-pound IBF champion of the world and the phenom of the welterweight division, was mandated to fight Karen. He beat Karen last year out there in Washington, D.C. in the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia undercard. And Michael Benson reports that Karen promoter P2M Box Promotions have reportedly won the purse bids for the Jaron Ennis IBF mandatory rematch after outbidding Eddie Hearn's Matchroom by around $250,000. Fight is for Ennis IBF Welterweight world title. Unclear if he may now vacate. Now, you know what? I've been saying it for quite some time. If y'all been following the channel, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, support your boy. I've been saying that Jaron Ennis should be moving up to the 154-pound division. That I feel like the 147-pound division is a ghost town. It's a ghost town just like the middleweight division. Now, of course, the welterweight division used to be a lucrative, high-profile division when we had the names of Keith and Tom Thurman, Bud Crawford, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao. But as we all know, most of them has moved on to the 154-pound division. Danny Garcia is going to be fighting Lara for the middleweight championship strap. Earl Spence haven't been back in the ring. We don't know if he retired. Keith and Tom Thurman haven't been back in the ring. We don't know if he retired. Sean Porter retired. Manny Pacquiao retired. And it's just not as lucrative as it used to be. But I've been saying this for quite some time, that the 154-pound division, the junior middleweight division, is probably the most stacked division in the sport of boxing, one of the most competitive division in the sport of boxing. From number 1 through number 10, I think that is the most lucrative division in the sport of boxing and the most interesting division in the sport of boxing. And it will be more interesting if Jaron Ennis just moves up to the 154-pound division, and because I believe there's so many legacy fights for him. Can you imagine Jaron Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz? One of the fights that I've been saying for quite some time. Even Jaron Ennis versus Josh Kelly, Jaron Ennis versus Conor Benn, Boots versus Bud, Boots versus Spence, Boots versus Fundura, Boots versus Erickson Lubin, Boots versus Brian Mendoza, Boots versus Brian Castano, Boots versus Jamel Charlo, Boots versus, even Zaire Zander, damn it. So many fights for Ennis with good names, and good fighters that is accomplished. Boots versus Tszyu, yo, it is a gold mine right now in the 154-pound division. And if he would have fought Karen, he already beat Karen, it would have never done anything for his career. Even though that he could have a unification bout with Brian Norman Jr., which Brian Norman Jr. ducked that fight. His team ducked the fight. I think that Brian Norman Jr. and his team should have taken the fight, but it seems like that Brian Norman Jr.'s team was more greedy, and the manager and Pops, who, you know, fatherhood is prominent in the sport of boxing. I give a lot of credit to Brian Norman Sr. for developing his son and molding to his son to become the warrior that he is, and a great victory that he had versus Giovanni. But I think that they was worried about their 10% as well, just as much as, well, they was worried about that 10% more than the legacy of Brian Norman Jr. and the opportunity to fight a unification bout with Jaron Ennis, in which both of them really needed each other to stamp and bring some weight to the belt that they got elevated for. Because we all know that Bud Crawford was the undisputed welterweight, so Ennis got elevated as a champion, the IBF, and Brian Norman Jr. got elevated as a champion. They didn't beat a champion to get the belt, so that would have been a good fight, just so they could bring some weight into that belt. The same thing with Mario Barrios, right? And I just don't think that Jaron Ennis is going to get those fights, and I don't think that those are money fights. Yes, is accomplishable fights, but in this stage in this era of boxing, belts matter, to be honest, for the most part, for who you beat. Let's say when Teofimo Lopez beat Vasily Lomachenko, belts matter. When Teofimo Lopez beat Josh Taylor, belts matter. When Bud Crawford beat Earl Spence, belts matter. You feel me? Canelo Alvarez beat Caden Plant, belts matter. Alexander Usyk beat Tyson Fury, belts matter. But when it comes to fights that I remember when Bob Arum didn't want to pay for Shakur Stevenson to become undisputed in the super featherweight division when he unified the titles versus Oscar Valdez, and there was Gutierrez right there for unification bout. Bob Arum says that nobody want to pay for the fight. So not every championship bout is championship quality when it comes to the bank account. And of course, this is prize fighting. That's the unfortunate part, that it got to make sense. It got to make business sense, just not for the strength and the morals and the principle of the sport, but it has to make business sense. And I think that right now it makes business sense and it makes legacy sense for Jaron Bruce Ennis to move to the 154-pound division, use the IBF, and put himself in position. I know that Tszyu going to be fighting for that IBF strap. But put yourself in position to at least be the mandatory and immediate mandatory to a guy like Tszyu, an immediate mandatory to the winner of Fundura, or maybe in the future of well, you got to go through the IBF, but I think he just got to put himself in position. I think that he could get a fight, even if it's not a world title. I think he needs to move quick, because of course he's been having hiccups with his promotional company in the past. Now he signed with Matchroom Boxing. I hope that Jaron Bruce Ennis, and I did a video a while ago, I hope that Jaron Bruce Ennis is not going to be the next Demetrius Andre in terms of the business of boxing, where he's going to be just too good that nobody really want to get in the ring with him until he's 30-something years old, There is nobody calling out Jaron Bruce Ennis. Ain't nobody really want to, is clamoring for it to get in the ring with him. And I think as a business move for Eddie Hearn not to bid for the fight, I think they are going to be moving into the 154-pound division. But if they don't move to the 154-pound division after losing in the bid, almost the same thing that Eddie Hearn lost that bid. They don't want to bid to see Demetrius Andre versus Zach Parker, remember? So I hope that this was a business move and a way that Jaron Bruce Ennis is going to vacate the world title, move to the 154-pound division, but use that his status right now as a champion and put himself in position in the IBF as a mandatory. I think the number 1 and the number 2 is position is vacant in the IBF, and I think that with Darryl Peoples, the president of the IBF, is going to put Jaron Bruce Ennis in great position to fight the winner of Tszyu and Maroda Lawson. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Sorry, man. English is my second language. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Should he stay in the 147-pound division or move to the 154? I think he should move to the 154. I think he's wasting his time at 147. Move to the legacy division, to the stacked division, to the most competitive division in the sport of boxing, 154. Jamel Charlo Boots. Whoa!